I have been married to my wife, Jess, for 6 years, together for almost 10. I used to think we had a good thing. Not perfect, but solid. We had our little arguments about dumb stuff, laundry, money, her scrolling on her phone at dinner, but we'd always patch it up. She used to laugh at my bad jokes, and I used to think her messy coffee habit was cute. Yeah, I was an idiot. Things started feeling off around March. It was subtle, her being glued to her phone, screen flipped down, always smiling at something she wouldn't tell me about. I'd ask, "Who's that?" And she'd roll her eyes. "Just work stuff. You're so paranoid." That "you're paranoid" line became her favorite catchphrase. We used to go to bed together every night. Suddenly, she was staying up late watching shows or talking to her sister. I'd wake up at 2 a.m. and find her in the living room with the lights off, phone in hand, the glow of the screen on her face. I'd ask her to come to bed and she'd sigh like I was interrupting something important. I convinced myself it was just a phase. Stress from work, maybe. She works in marketing, and there was this new project she wouldn't shut up about. I wanted to be supportive. I brought her coffee every morning, cooked dinner more often, even cleaned the house before she got home. She barely noticed. Looking back, I think the first real gut punch was the perfume. She started wearing this expensive floral scent, totally different from her usual vanilla one. I asked where it came from, and she said her friend from work gave it to her as a sample. Funny thing is, that friend turned out to be a guy. But at that point, I still didn't know. I still believed her. God, I wanted to believe her so badly. So, the discovery. The day everything came crashing down. It was a random Thursday. I remember because I'd just gotten home early from work. Jess didn't expect me back until 6, but I wrapped up a meeting sooner than planned. I figured I'd surprise her, maybe take her out to dinner. When I walked in, she wasn't in the living room or the kitchen. Her car was in the driveway, so she had to be home. I called out, "Jess?" No answer. I headed upstairs and noticed the bedroom door was half closed. I could hear her voice, low, kind of giggly, and then a man's voice. I froze. My first instinct was that I was overthinking again, that maybe she was on speakerphone. I wish that had been the case. I pushed the door open just enough to see her sitting on the bed, laptop open but not working. She was on a video call, wearing a tank top, hair done up, smiling like she used to smile at me. And this guy, this random dude on the other end of the call, was saying things no coworker should ever say. Stuff like, "Can't wait to see you again, babe." Babe. I didn't burst in. I just stood there for a few seconds, heart pounding so loud I thought she'd hear it. I took a photo of the screen with my phone. I don't even know why, maybe to convince myself later that it was real, then quietly walked back downstairs. About an hour later, she came down all smiles, pretending nothing happened. "Hey, you're home early," she said, like she wasn't just flirting with another man on a webcam in our bedroom. I said nothing, just stared at her. And then she asked me if I could pick up Thai food for dinner. That's when I knew, deep down, she'd been lying to me for weeks, maybe months. The phone, the late nights, the perfume, all of it. And that night, I decided I was done pretending not to see it. I waited until Saturday to confront her. I don't even know why. Maybe I wanted to see if she'd confess on her own. Spoiler, she didn't. That morning, she was acting all normal, making pancakes, humming, scrolling her phone between flips like she didn't have a care in the world. I sat at the table just watching her,
trying to figure out how someone could look so calm while stabbing me in the back. Finally, I said, "So, who's Ryan?" She froze for half a second, just long enough to confirm everything, and she laughed, this fake, sharp laugh. "Ryan? He's just a coworker. Why?" I pulled out my phone and showed her the photo I took, her grinning at her laptop, his face right there on the screen, mid-babe. Her smile vanished. "You're seriously spying on me now?" she snapped. No apology, no shock, just anger that I caught her. I said, "I'm not spying, Jess. You were literally sitting in our bedroom telling another man you couldn't wait to see him again." And then came the lies, the rapid-fire, panicky kind. "Oh my God, you completely misunderstood. It's just an inside joke. He's going through a breakup. I was comforting him. You always twist things. This is why I don't tell you stuff." Every word out of her mouth made my stomach turn. The more I pressed, the nastier she got. At one point, she screamed, "You're paranoid and controlling. Maybe if you weren't so boring lately, I wouldn't need to talk to someone else." Yeah, she actually said that. I think that was the exact second something in me broke. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just stood up, walked into the bedroom, and started packing a bag. She followed me, still yelling, calling me dramatic, saying I was throwing away our marriage over nothing. When I walked out the door, she yelled after me, "Fine, go then. You'll come crawling back when you calm down." I didn't. But the worst part? I still loved her in that moment. Even as she tore me apart, I wanted her to say sorry. She never did.
The first few days after I left felt like waking up in a different life, one I didn't recognize and didn't want. I crashed at my brother's place, barely slept, barely ate. My brain kept replaying everything she said. "Maybe if you weren't so boring." That line stuck like a nail in my skull. I didn't block her right away. Big mistake. She texted me nonstop. Not to apologize, mind you, but to spin it. "I can't believe you just walk out on me like that. You totally misunderstood the situation. You're ruining our marriage over your own insecurities. If you cared about us, you'd talk to me instead of running away." Not once did she say sorry. Not once did she take any responsibility. Then came the bombshell. 2 days later, I get a message from one of her coworkers, a girl I'd met at a few work events. She just said, "Hey, I don't want to stir things up, but you should know Jess and Ryan have been sneaking around for months. Everyone in the office knows." Everyone in the office. It felt like I'd been living in a sitcom where everyone was in on the joke but me. I found out they'd even gone on a work trip together a month ago. Turns out it was a weekend getaway. I sent Jess one last text. "Don't contact me again. I know everything." She tried calling 15 times after that. When I finally picked up, she went from crying to yelling in the span of 30 seconds, saying I was throwing away something beautiful, and Ryan means nothing, and I only did it because you made me feel unseen. I hung up mid-sentence. That night, I sat in my car outside our house, well, her house now, for nearly an hour. I just looked at the lights through the window and tried to understand how the person I loved most became someone I couldn't even recognize. It's a strange kind of grief, not losing her, but realizing she was never who I thought she was.
After that last call, everything hit me like a freight train. I'd been holding it together just enough to function, go to work, pretend I was fine, but once I was alone, it was like someone ripped the floor out from under me. The nights were the worst. I'd lie awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying every tiny moment from the last year. The late replies, the sudden girls' nights, the way she'd flinch if I walked behind her while she was texting. Every memory turned into a clue I'd missed. I started scrolling through old photos on my phone, torturing myself, smiling selfies from trips, anniversaries, inside jokes in the captions. I kept wondering when she stopped meaning it, when she stopped choosing me. Then came the social media gut punch. I shouldn't have looked, but of course I did. A week after I left, she posted a story. A glass of wine, dim lighting, that same floral perfume bottle sitting next to it. The song playing? Cool Girl by Tove Lo. I wish I was making that up. The caption said, "Doing me." It was like she was mocking me. That same night, I got a text from an unknown number. "Hey man, I think we need to talk." It was Ryan. I didn't answer right away, but curiosity got me. The next morning, I replied, "There's nothing to talk about." He sent back a wall of messages saying he didn't know she was married at first, that she'd told him we were basically separated, that she made him fall for her. I called him an idiot and told him never to contact me again. But deep down, I weirdly believed him because that's exactly what Jess would do. Twist every truth until she looked like the victim. That's when the anger started replacing the heartbreak. I stopped crying. I stopped missing her. I just wanted my peace back.
About 3 weeks after everything blew up, something shifted. I woke up one morning and realized I hadn't checked her social media the night before. It sounds small, but it felt huge, like I'd taken one step out of the fog. I started focusing on myself again. Hit the gym, picked up running, mostly to burn off the anger, started hanging out with friends I hadn't seen in months. Everyone had the same reaction when I told them what happened. Dude, she always seemed intense. I guess I'd been blind to it. Then came the inevitable. Jess showed up at my brother's place. No warning, just a knock on the door at 10 p.m. I opened it, and there she was, mascara smudged, clutching her phone like it was a weapon. "Can we please talk?" she said, a voice trembling in that performative way I knew too well. I didn't want a scene, so I stepped outside. The first thing out of her mouth was, "Ryan's a psycho. He's been telling people lies about me at work." Not an apology, not even close, just more drama. Then she hit me with, "I miss you. You're my best friend. I made a mistake." I told her I didn't buy it. I said, "You didn't make a mistake, Jess. You made a choice." Over and over again. She got defensive immediately. "So you're just gonna throw away our marriage?" Like I was the one who ruined it. I told her she already did that. She tried to grab my hand, started crying again, saying, "I don't even love him. It was never about him. It was about how lonely I felt." That line, "how lonely I felt," almost got to me. But then I remembered all those nights I sat next to her while she laughed at her phone, ignoring me completely. So I said, "You created your own loneliness, Jess," and walked back inside. That was the last time I saw her in person. And for the first time since this all started, I actually felt lighter.
After that night, I had to make a choice. Part of me wanted revenge, to expose her, to make her feel the chaos she caused. Another part just wanted to disappear from the whole mess and never look back. I decided on neither extremes. I blocked her on every platform: phone, social media, email, everything. No calls, no texts, no chance for her to twist reality or pull me back in. It felt brutal, but necessary. I started therapy. Talking to someone who didn't know Jess personally was a revelation. They helped me untangle the anger, the shame, the lingering love. It wasn't about fixing her, it was about reclaiming myself. Financially and legally, I had to take steps too. We had joint accounts, a car loan, and a lease we both signed. I consulted a lawyer, divided things fairly, and started planning a move into a small apartment downtown. Something of my own. And emotionally, that was the hardest part. Some nights I'd still dream about her, see her smile, hear her lies, but each morning I woke up in my own space, in my own life, and realized I didn't need her. Not anymore. I didn't forgive her, I didn't try to reconcile. I just accepted that she wasn't the person I thought she was, and that was okay.
Looking back now, it's surreal how quickly someone you love can become a stranger. The betrayal hit like a hurricane, and I thought I'd never rebuild. But I did. Slowly, painfully, but genuinely. Here's what I've learned in no particular order. Trust your gut. Those tiny suspicions you brush off, they're often worth listening to. I ignored the little signs for months, convincing myself I was overreacting. Don't. People reveal themselves over time. Just didn't change overnight. She was always capable of this, and I just didn't see it. Pay attention to patterns, not promises. Your feelings are valid. Don't let anyone gaslight you into thinking you're dramatic or overreacting. Hurt, anger, confusion, all of it is normal. Distance is healing. Cutting her out of my life completely was brutal at first, but it allowed me to see clearly and start rebuilding. Focus on yourself, your life, your growth, your happiness. That's what's truly salvageable. I won't lie, some days it still stings. Some nights I catch myself imagining how it would have been if she'd been honest. But I've come to realize that life is better without the constant lies and manipulations. I'm learning to trust again, myself mostly, and that's enough for now. To anyone going through something similar, it sucks, it's messy, but you will survive it, and when you do, you'll be stronger than you ever imagined.